This is Richard Lynch, you're watching ILoveLimerick.com, and today I'm here with my friend Natasha O'Brien, whose new documentary, Natasha, is being released on RTE, and I think everyone should see it. Natasha, you have a documentary about the last year of your life coming out on RTE. Talk to me about the documentary, Natasha, and what it's about.
Well, first of all, bit of deja vu sitting here with you.
It's a year
it's exactly
ago.
a year.
Literally to the day.
It was the 21st of June last year when you were linking my arm going up for that protest in Limerick for Live Love Limerick. Yeah.
It's very surreal.
Yeah, it's surreal.
Here we are
here we are talking about my documentary.
Talking about a documentary that's been made about your life in the last year. Talk to me about the documentary.
Well, I suppose I put myself out there. I spoke up. I stood up for, to talk about all these issues and to stand up. There's just so much violence and there's so many injustices in court. And about 6 weeks after all the media and the headlines, my producers of this documentary got in touch to talk about it, talk about a film project. So I met them and I said, look guys, I don't want to do some true crime, dramatic, and then he did this, and then she did. I was like, if you want that kind of thing, I'm not your girl. I don't want to keep going back over the same story and the same trauma. I've told my story so many times. There's only so many times I can tell it, and there's only so many times people are going to want to hear it.
Right.
And so this documentary is new stuff. There's a little intro about what happened, and then it is my journey through the appeal, my relationship with my mom, that the mother trying to help their child and the child going, no mom, leave me alone, and it's all that, and it follows my intimate personal life. And I just thought that was so important, Richard, because I was out in this public platform and people just saw this,
just thrown into the spotlight,
and people saw this they had this one dimensional kind of, and I'm just this surface level. And we see that all the time, when we see victims in headlines, we don't actually think about the whole person behind that headline. And so this documentary was me showing the person behind the headline, and it's about me and my journey and my struggle and the good and the bad and the ups and the downs and the days I'm rotting in bed and the days I'm out dancing in the George and all the in between, because that's what a human is, and we don't
see that online, do we?
No. And we don't always, we see the victim, we don't see the human. And so I'm trying to show, it was really important to me to show that victims are humans too.
Yeah.
And there's no one way to be a victim. And just because I'm confident.
And you're not a victim by choice.
No.
This didn't happen to you by choice. Take me back to May 2022. You thought you were standing up for what was right, and then you were violently beaten by a man. And your life was irrevocably changed.
Yeah.
I mean, it took a whole new turn.
Yeah.
Again, not something you wanted. That was 3 years ago. You spent 3 years of your life going through this trauma and fighting for what's right. Talk to me about the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Again, it must seem so surreal.
It is really surreal. I remember, I'm going to go way back to 10 years ago when I was in TY and you came in to give a little talk in TY in my school, and you were talking
about bullying.
About bullying. And you,
because I was badly bullied my whole childhood.
Absolutely.
Violently bullied.
Me too. And I was this little 15-year-old being badly bullied and hated being different and hated, why can't I be like all the other kids? Why do I have to be different? And you kind of gave me this little pep talk and said, just be yourself, it doesn't matter. And then 10 years later, that's what I'm doing. And I am being myself, and being myself means standing up for what's right. And when I was walking home from work that night, and this young gay guy was being harassed and verbally assaulted, I just said, leave him alone, please. Leave him alone.
Unnecessary,
because I've been the person that has been bullied my whole life. So now I never ever want to see anyone be bullied or picked on or harassed, because it's so important. And especially when you go through it and you experience what it's like when nobody stands up for you. Now I'm the first to stand up for someone else because nobody was there to stand up for me. So that's why that happened.
I'm so proud of you, by the way, because I don't know if I would have the guts to do what you did and then to be annihilated online, because when we put up our video last year, which went viral, and I sent it out to all the national media for you, I saw the bullying you received online, and I blocked so many people from I Love Limerick. It really upset me to think that a young girl could be violently beaten and was the victim in the situation and then was being attacked for
speaking out and standing up.
How did that
And
make you feel? More bullying.
it made me so angry that, you know, I'm literally trying to help other people. I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm only doing this for the future of people. Like, I don't ever hope to have to go back into that system again. So really, it's not really, it doesn't matter, because I'm hoping I don't have to go back into that system. But I know there are people that are going back into that system. And so, you know, again, standing up for the people that, don't even know what's ahead of them. And oh, it was so infuriating, but it just reminded me.
I'm so sorry.
It reminded me of being that powerless teenager where people just told me that I wasn't important and I was annoying and too opinionated. And so now, being an adult and having gone through all that, I'm like, you're embarrassing. You're acting like my 12-year-old bully. I really don't care about your opinion. I know what I'm doing is right, and I'm proud to be me, and I'm proud to be this outspoken. I'm proud to be this authentic, outspoken girl that, and I'm a difficult woman, and I love that. I claim that. Yeah, I'm difficult.
Good.
And
Yeah,
yes,
good.
I get told all the time, you're so attention seeking. Oh, look at her, she's looking for attention. Yeah, I am looking for attention for very
Like you were
important
looking
issues.
to be beat up violently and
Yeah.
knocked out,
But, like-
knocked to the ground.
But yeah, give me attention, because I'm talking about something that's important. So
You-
yeah, I'm
absolutely.
not here talking to you because I don't want attention. You know, I'm
And
looking.
how has your life ultimately changed, Natasha? What's been the biggest change of all in you and in the people around you that you love? For example, we just met your mom.
Yeah, we did.
How has all your lives changed as a result of this?
Well, when I reflect back, Richard, like on 12 months ago, maybe like just before I had to go into court, I had just moved back to my mum's. 10 months before that, I went on illness benefit because I was so depressed and couldn't get out of bed, and I was just in a really, really bad place where I felt like, why me? What did I do to deserve this? And I honestly feel like maybe if I minded my own business and I wasn't this person that is, I wasn't so out there, and I just minded my business that night, maybe this wouldn't have happened to me. But then, when I was just so bad, I was just so badly treated in that courtroom. I realised, you know what, I can tell myself I'm a little bit worthless sometimes, but you can't. So
Like when he
it was
got
kinda
off,
like,
how did that make you feel?
I just felt like,
Discounted.
I just felt like why are you protecting his job when I have lost my whole life? I've lost my whole life. And, I was 24 at the time, and I turned 25 in September, so I'm 26 now. But like, when I kind of reflected back on 12 months ago, just before all this campaign, I was like, the suffering I had endured for 2 years, I was like, I cannot see myself enduring another year of
Couldn't
this.
work, you couldn't make a living, you were depressed.
And I was like,
you've been violently beaten. You've been traumatized.
And I just didn't want another year of this pain. So I was going, I don't even want to make it to 25. I didn't. I was just like, I'm sick of this. I've had enough of this. And then I was given this platform, and people wanted to hear my opinion, and I was helping people by speaking. And so now I have done an incredible documentary. It was so challenging. Blood, sweat and tears went into it.
Imagine.
I bared my soul for it, Richard. Like, I had the camera crew in my counselling session after the appeal.
Wow.
Where I'm just breaking down, and I had the camera crew getting in my hotel room, getting ready to go to the appeal.
And why did you do it? Because it's not for attention. You want change. And I feel like you wanted people to see that you are a spirit and you're multidimensional and you are not just a victim or this one-note person that people are trying to make you out to be online.
Yeah.
You want to see around the picture of who you actually
I
are.
want people to just stop judging books by covers, and this documentary is the inside of that book of me, and Natasha O'Brien is this girl that was assaulted and she's this victim, but like Natasha, that's the person. That's the person, and there's a person behind every headline, and we have to remember that we're humans, and it's just so we forget these things when everything is just fast world. But I just thought it was so important that somebody can show that I can be happy. Like, I'm going through something difficult, but look at me, I'm out in the club having a dance with my friends. That doesn't mean I'm not suffering. And look at me, I'm in bed, I can't get out of the bed for 2 weeks. But that doesn't mean I can't also do things sometimes. And I thought it was just so important to invite the cameras to document my whole journey, to show the reality that we're up and down and we're everything in between, and that's the human experience. Like, even if you're not a victim in going through something in the justice system, like, you might have something traumatic happening in your life and be dealing with something, and like, we can't just expect people to act one way. And all the hate I've received, it's been like, oh, she's not a real victim, look at her, or like, all these things. So I'm like, no, I am. And a real victim does not look like anything. We're not what happens to us.
We're what we do with our pain.
Yeah.
And you've become a voice for national reform.
Yeah.
Like, what laws have changed as a result of you taking a stance? What's changed for other people out there that may be in a similar situation to you?
I've been working with a number of different politicians. Anyone that wants to help, because this isn't a political thing, this is a human issue.
Absolutely.
It's not a political issue, it's a human issue. Honing in on proposing new sentencing guidelines, and there's been kind of talks about more judiciary training. I also open up in the documentary, I speak with a couple of other victims that have put themselves out there in the media, and they share what they would like to see too. I meet with Ivana Bacik, she's a Labour Party leader, but she was a barrister for years. And she explained to me that, her experience in the courts kind of pushed her into wanting to make legislative changes. So there's all that in it, and it's not a sprint. I wish we could see change overnight. It's a marathon, but I think the whole narrative is changing, and we're empowering each other now to come out.
Women are treated like second-class citizens all over the world. It's just a fact. Even homophobia is its roots in misogyny.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So how do you feel? Do you consider yourself a feminist, or a voice for women, or a voice for humanity?
I think we have an idea of feminism, but gender-based violence is an epidemic. But what we do forget is that 80% of homicide victims are male. But they're affected by gender-based violence because most of their perpetrators are also male. So we're only looking at half the picture, because men are affected by gender-based violence too. And so that's the bigger picture. And we need more advances in women's rights, but we need to also remember that there are other people in this story and in this, that deserve to be a part of this discussion and conversation. Feminism is about giving everyone equal support. If you are a feminist and you are supporting the women that are speaking out, and you are not supporting the men with that same energy, you're not a feminist, because that's not equality. So you need to be supporting everyone, women, men, they,
the
them,
LGBTQAI
everyone.
community are going through an awful time right now,
I
especially
know.
transgender people. And it's really frightening what's happening.
It's so frightening, because we're all human beings at the end of the day. We all have shared experiences, and we can relate to each other in so many ways. And we are all so different, and that's a good thing too, that we have all our differences, but it's like we need to stop focusing so much on those differences. No, we have so much in common too.
Because I see on your platform, you're constantly fighting for anyone disenfranchised. That's what I really love about you.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen you fight for the LGBT community, the rights of migrants, asylum seekers, people that are at risk, people who are vulnerable. Why does it mean so much to you now to continue this fight for everyone and fight for what's right? What's in your heart that makes you want to do that?
I think it's just, really feeling like nobody fought for me as a young girl.
I feel that way.
I felt nobody fought for me, and nobody wanted to support me or care about me, and I just felt so alone. And now that I'm this fully grown woman and I have a fire in my belly and I have a voice and I know how to use it, I just think that, everyone deserves a little bit of that voice, and we're all human beings, and we all deserve the same. We all deserve love and respect, and and that's my core. And nobody is worth more than anyone else. And so in that justice system, I was treated as less than.
You've experienced some really low lows, some really high highs. What was your lowest low in the last 3 years where you felt like you wanted to give up? And what was the greatest high that brought you back to a sense of humanity and hope in the human race?
Oh my God. I think it was all in the space of 24 hours. My lowest low was walking out of that courtroom. And I was, I honestly...
A year ago?
1 year ago, I walked out of that courthouse down in the Limerick Circuit Court, and I just felt like I had no value. Nobody wanted to protect me. Nobody cared about what had happened to me and about my pain and suffering. And everyone just wanted to protect my perpetrator. And I I remember going home that night and just curling up in a ball and just thinking, I don't want to keep going on, because I had put 2 years of my life into the hope that, there would be justice. And so those 2 years of suffering felt like they were all for
Of
nothing.
waiting.
Of waiting.
Of being vindicated.
And then this be the result. I just felt I'm so fed up and I just can't see any light anymore. there is no end of this tunnel for me. And then 24 hours later,
When we all gathered
Yeah.
in Bedford Row, how did it feel to look out and see that sea of support, men, women?
that was the highest high.
Oh.
And all in the space of 24, 48 hours. I remember walking down to Bedford Row and there was just this sea of men, women, children, the whole of Limerick. And then you were there and you were like, I'm going to make you up. And I was like, oh God, am I going to? And then I just saw everyone and all their...
That video was watched by millions of people.
yeah,
That video
yeah.
we made of you that
I
day.
know.
And I'm so glad we were able to spread the word. And when he finally got sentenced, how did you feel?
It was really difficult. It's really difficult because, I had been fighting for this justice for so long. But
Because it's another life, isn't it?
But I never
His life was
anticipated-
also...
yeah, but he's alive. And
Yeah.
I value all life.
Absolutely.
So unfortunately, I do value the person that harmed my life too.
Of course.
He still has worth. And yeah,
Of course.
he made a terrible mistake.
Of course.
But he should be given the opportunity to learn from that mistake and redeem himself. And I have all this guilt that he has now been vilified by the media and his face and name is everywhere. And I feel like that's my fault because I spoke out
not
about
your
the
fault.
system. But he got caught in the
He has a
crossfire.
family too that's also
Yeah.
gone through the wars, I'm
Yeah.
sure. So it affected a lot of people's
Yeah,
lives,
and
didn't it?
it's-
And what's your feelings towards him now?
I just feel really angry at the system that I am the victim, but now he has become a secondary victim because if that judge 1 year ago had made the right call and given, held him accountable for his actions, he would have had an opportunity to reflect, to go, and redeem. But now, that system has damaged him in irreparable ways as well. So now he's a victim too. And it's
very sad.
nobody wins. Nobody wins. So
Nobody wins.
I feel so heartbroken that he's had to get caught in this crossfire when all I was trying to do was, raise awareness for victims and empower victims. I wasn't trying to lead a manhunt against him, but some
Well, you
media
had to
outlets
speak out
did
for
that.
what was... Yeah, but you had to stand up for yourself.
I did,
Natasha.
yeah, and it's
I mean, we all have to stand up for ourselves.
Yeah.
We
It's
do.
look-
And we have to stand up for each other.
Yeah, we do, and that's what I did that night.
Yeah, and I really
know.
appreciate you because you stood up for a lot of people and you've really put yourself out there and put yourself at risk of being judged, of being
Yeah.
critiqued, and it's a very scary place to be. Where do you see the next steps for you, Natasha? Where do you see your life going? What would you like to do with your life? Do you want to continue with your work?
I feel like I didn't have any kind of value for my life a year ago. So I feel like this has given me this purpose and value for my life that I felt like a waste of space to this planet a year ago. And now I feel like, wow, I'm making a difference here and I'm doing something that is helping people. And, I'm changing and smashing these outdated narratives and smashing these stereotypes that we have and opening people's eyes to more deeper, meaningful questions and trying to, support just help people to see all humans as equal. That's so important.
Absolutely.
It's one of the most important things for me. I've had this amazing opportunity to do this incredible documentary, and I could not have done it without you and your support.
thank
because
you.
You've been there from the very start,
Thank
Richard.
you. And I always will be here unconditionally.
And you were there even before the start, 10 years ago, when you gave me that little pep talk when I was in school and struggling.
Oh, thank you.
You know?
But it sounds about right.
And it
because
really-
I know what it feels like to be bullied, disenfranchised, discounted by society, not fit in. And for you to be hurt like that really was a distressing thing to read, to watch, to hear about. Nobody should ever go through that.
No, nobody. So now I've found this purpose, I've found this voice, I'm feeling empowered and inspired, and I'm proud of myself for the first time in a long, long time. And so just gonna keep spreading that positivity
And love.
Love.
Well, I want
and-
to say I'm proud of you, Natasha O'Brien. I'm proud. You're a Limerick person. You're one of our community. I love you. I just loved watching you grow, and I love watching you heal. This is Richard Lynch. You're watching ilovelimerick.com, and I'm here with my friend Natasha O'Brien, celebrating love, truth, and honesty. We're going to see you soon. Give it a wave, Natasha.